Visit licensureexams.com and try our samples completely free of charge. Welcome, everyone, to our Licensure Exams podcast and today's episode of Common Exam Challenges. I'm your host, Stacy Frost, and I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Linton Hutchinson. Our aim is to provide you with valuable insights into the complexities surrounding your licensure exam. In this episode, we'll be focusing on an aspect that often hinders success, a lack of effective test-taking skills.
That's right. It's important to recognize that the content knowledge that you've acquired throughout your years in graduate school is just one piece of the puzzle. The ability to effectively demonstrate the knowledge under the pressure of a testing environment is equally important. Many highly capable and well-prepared test candidates who are wonderful therapists struggle to pass the exam due to a lack of proficiency in test-taking strategies and techniques.
And then there are those straight A students who are fantastic test takers and pass the first time that you wouldn't want to do therapy with your dog, or chickens for that matter. Listening to our common exam challenges is going to level that playing field. And I want to tell you from the get-go, if you're having trouble passing your exam, you're not alone. Your results on the exam do not reflect your intelligence, knowledge, or your counseling ability. Test-taking skills can be developed and improved with practice and the right strategies.
That's true, but I've talked to a lot of people that have failed the exam, and they do take the results of this test as affecting them in terms of their beliefs about their intelligence, knowledge, and counseling ability. How would you help them change that, Stacy?
I don't know, Linton. How would you help them change that?
Oh, yes. Well, I would do it using your favorite CPT. Tell me about that.
Well, there's where you would go down that trail of challenging maladaptive thoughts. So, the whole I failed the test, that means I'm a failure as a person. That means that I'm no good as a counselor. And you work with them on identifying that false belief and working to replace that with something that's a little bit healthier.
Absolutely. So let's start off by talking about our first test-taking skill, reading comprehension. You wouldn't think that would have anything to what you have to do as a therapist, but for you to pass the test, you need to build strong reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is the ability to understand and interpret written text. It involves recognizing and processing words in a sentence and understanding the vocabulary. And it involves critical thinking. While there may be some knowledge level questions when you either know it or you don't, the bulk of the questions on your exam that you will encounter are higher cognitive level questions that require you to use your skills of analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. These exams are not set up for you to memorize facts and then just to take and regurgitate what you know. They are designed to test your ability to understand and apply complex concepts requiring a deep comprehension of the material.
Now, can you describe what you mean by analysis, synthesis, and evaluation, Linton?
Okay. Hopefully in your counseling program, you've gone over this, but let's go over it again. Analysis questions are designed to encourage you to break down the information into parts and identify how they work together, examining all the different connections between the different concepts and recognize patterns.
My favorite, recognizing patterns. Okay, so a question like, how do the client's current relationship dynamics mirror patterns or behaviors from their childhood or past experiences? Would this be an analysis kind of question?
Right, that it sure would. In this case, the question requires the following analytical steps. Number one, examining the client's current relationship dynamics to identify specific patterns or behaviors. Once you've done that, two, you investigate the client's childhood and past experiences to pinpoint relative events, relationships, or circumstances that have been influencing their behavior. Three, comparing the identified patterns or behaviors in the client's current relationships with those from their past to determine similarities or reoccurring themes. Number four, interpreting how the past experiences might be influencing or shaping the client's present relationship dynamics. All right. So you have to look at those different aspects. Answering this question necessitates a thorough analysis of the client's life, drawing connections between past and present, and understanding how early experiences contribute to the current behaviors and relationship patterns. By breaking down the client's history and current situation, you can then gain insights into the underlying factors that shape the client's relationships and help them develop strategies to address any problematic current patterns or behaviors.
Okay, that's a really good overview of analysis questions. What about synthesis questions?
Okay, synthesis. Synthesis questions are designed to encourage the client to integrate various pieces of information, ideas, or concepts to form a completely whole new or to create something completely original. These are the questions where you're asked to choose a treatment approach, formulate therapeutic goals, and create strategies. You're applying learned knowledge in a very practical way.
All right, so for example,
Given the client's current challenges in their work environment, what strategies can you propose to address conflict and miscommunication with their coworkers?
all right, this is definitely a synthesis question because it requires combining multiple pieces of information to develop a comprehensive solution or a proposal. And to effectively answer this question, you'd need to analyze the client's current challenges in their work environment, which likely involves considering various factors like the client's role, the nature of the conflicts, and the communication issues that are present. Then you draw upon your knowledge of conflict resolution strategies and effective communication techniques that are relevant to a workplace setting. And then you would synthesize the understanding of the client's specific situation with the general knowledge that you have of conflict resolution and communication strategies to propose tailored solutions that address the client's unique challenges. Synthesis questions go beyond mere recall or comprehension of information. They require critically examining the given information, drawing connections between different concepts or ideas, and creating a new understanding or a solution by combining these elements in a meaningful way. The question prompts the integration of specific details about the client's situation with broader knowledge to generate strategies that are well suited to resolving the client's particular issues with their coworkers.
Right. And one more. How can you draw on the client's past experiences of overcoming challenges to develop new coping mechanisms for dealing with their current anxiety?
These synthesis questions really push you to think creatively and apply what you've learned in all of your years of schooling and training to develop unique solutions for each client.
So, Stacy, are we really going to have questions like this on the exam?
You're really going to have questions like this on the exam. Yeah, this isn't your, kindergarten kind of exam here where they want you to memorize facts and, what color's the sky kind of thing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, they want you, taking what you know and actually being able to apply it and think critically. That's really important too. All right. And how about evaluation type questions?
All right. These are probably the more complex ones as far as I can determine, but these are the questions that exam makers love to include when you're asked to assess the value, significance, or worth of something based on certain criteria or standards. For example, how would you determine what techniques are beneficial for the client and which ones require modifications? Or what criteria would you use to determine if the therapy has been effective? Evaluative questions also encourage you to provide a reasonable justification for an action that you've taken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sort of imagine like you're in a court and you've got the judge, and you're sort of defending your case and you're being asked to provide okay, why'd you do what you did? So the evaluation questions are testing that. Why'd you do what you did?
Uh-huh.
So here's another example. Why did you choose this particular approach over other therapeutic methods? All right, this question asks for a judgment or an assessment of the decision to select one therapeutic approach over others. And to answer this question, you would need to first identify the chosen therapeutic approach's key features, goals, and underlying principles. Then consider alternative therapeutic models and their respective characteristics, strengths, and limitations. Then assess the client's specific needs, preferences, and circumstances that informed the decision to choose that particular approach. Then evaluate the potential benefits and drawbacks of the selected approach in comparison to other options based on factors like empirical evidence, clinical expertise, and the client's unique situation. And finally, provide a reasoned explanation for why the chosen approach is deemed most suitable or likely to be effective in addressing the client's concerns, given the comparative evaluation of different therapeutic methods. Now, all of this, Linton, too, as I'm saying this is
Uh,
happening like simultaneously in your head. Like you're ding, ding, ding. You're having to do this within like a couple of seconds, a minute or two even of one question.
Right. So I can see how, you're really going to have to spend some time and energy studying for this exam. It's like going back to school all over again.
Mhm.